first edition of the 5 o'clock face-off every single Wednesday, obviously in the 5 o'clock hour. Local issues, politics, pop culture. Let's see who's facing off today, Bruce.
In no particular order?
No particular order. We got our panel of three. Lumen Strategies, Democratic political strategist, Stacy Pearson. Nice to see you.
Hello.
We've got the president of High Ground Inc., our buddy Chuck Coughlin is back. Chuck, how are you?
Good.
Ricardo Reyes is back, a Marine veteran and the executive director of Vets Forward. Ricardo, how are you?
Good. Thank you guys for having me back.
Great
Let's
to have
drop
you.
the puck, baby.
Let's do it. Let's go.
All
Face
right,
off.
Here we go. Government shutdown, day number 22. Who will blink first?
Ooh.
Chuck, you're up.
I can't see the Democrats blinking. I don't think they they have, in my view, the high ground on this argument because this was done with a partisan bill in the big beautiful bill, and they were cut out of that negotiation. Now they need their votes, and they need to be included in the negotiation. My exception to that would be if the Republicans choose to ditch the filibuster.
Okay.
That would be the only other way around
womp.
that. And that's the nuclear button.
Stacey?
Right.
Oh, I think when folks are already starting open enrollment and seeing how much more their insurance is costing,
Okay.
there is going to be a real number that folks associate with what the Democrats are holding out for. I mean,
And
even
this
in
is
our
strictly, you think that, the main point is
healthcare.
ACA, et cetera.
Yeah, I would like. I mean, if the world was according to Stacy, I would have said I'll kick the can. I'll pass a clean continuing resolution through the end of the year. Let's say if you post the Epstein files by noon, and it costs no one anything.
So Chuck says the Republicans will blink first.
They're going to have to.
You say,
Or my caveat.
Okay.
Do get rid of the filibuster.
Oh, boy.
all right, Ricardo, who blinks first?
It's definitely going to be the Republicans.
Wow.
Because every time
They've got all the power, and they're going to blink first?
they're the one. Every time that there's a shutdown in the last 20 years, they get blamed.
Okay.
And it's for a good reason. Like especially in this case, right? Where if you just listen to right wing media, you would think like there's this. They're talking about all these huge list of demands that all these Democrats want. They want two things, right? They want the extension on the ACA tax credits, and they want some of these cuts to Medicaid and Medicare to be rolled back. Like those are the two things that they're asking for. Those are very popular things to ask for. So I mean, if they really were asking for health care for illegals, like they try to say, then I get it. But it's so easy to disprove that. Like you can just Google it and disprove that right away.
I think it may. I'm going to exaggerate. It may come as a surprise to a lot of people the government shut down because you know what, it hasn't affected them.
That's true.
And so I'm wondering, like, what are the things or the milestones that we're going to hit where all of a sudden the average person out there who doesn't pay attention to government shutdowns, doesn't care how many days it's been, not a federal employee, why would I care? What's going to happen that'll put pressure on Congress to put an end to this?
Social Security checks, if that gets affected in some way.
Could that happen?
Yeah. I mean, if it's not essential employees and those start to be delayed for some reason or screwed up for some reason,
oh boy,
that's a problem.
Major sick outs.
Yeah. People walking away and not going to their jobs and creating a functionality problem. This Medicaid thing is a real thing. I mean, it's a real thing, too. As people's premiums go up, that's going to impact everybody. They tried not to do that, but she's right. Open enrollment is happening, so people are going to become aware of that.
Okay.
And so I think those are pretty broad stroke things that could and everybody,
kind of regardless of your politics, if that hits you, you're like, hold on a second.
Well, the
Wait
other
a
thing that's
minute.
going
Yep.
on simultaneously is everybody's prices are going up. And the price on a lot of stuff is going up. And
Food
everybody's
and-
starting to throw
yeah.
that on the tariff train. Yeah. And that's a triple threat.
Coffee.
Right. Coffee.
Beef.
Right.
Chickens. What else
Right.
are we talking?
Vegetables.
It's almost like immigrant labor has a role in our community.
What?
I know I'm way out on the big blue limb, but it's almost as if we need labor to do jobs that
supposed to
American
talk
workers
about that.
haven't
Shocker.
done for decades.
Or we need free trade with other countries that bring low-cost quality goods into this country. Ones that, for example, we don't have, like coffee beans, something we
Right.
don't grow here.
Bananas.
Can't.
Bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah, this is it's almost
Rare
like
earth
basic
minerals.
Yeah, basic economics is at play.
I think one of the big things that is going to catch people's attention right away, because they basically had to move like heaven and earth to make sure that the military got paid this last paycheck.
Yep.
Because they were about to miss
Because
active duty military
Active
was
duty
about to
military
miss a
was about to
paycheck.
lose their paycheck. Now, let me tell you something right now. As a
Former Marine.
former Marine.
Once a Marine,
once
always
a Marine,
Marine.
always a Marine. But
Sorry.
as former active duty, right? But so when I was a junior Marine, I lived paycheck to paycheck. I was on WIC. I was on SNAP as an active duty Marine because I did not get paid enough money. All those billions of dollars that go to the military, they don't go to the personnel.
Don't go to Marines and soldiers.
They call you a grunt for a reason, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for us, like
Wow.
missing a paycheck is a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
And when you start seeing, because right now, like I said, they had to move heaven and earth to move a bunch of money around to get people paid. They're not going to be able to keep doing that. As soon as the military starts missing paychecks, people will lose their minds, and it's going to be a lot of Republicans that are going to start losing their minds
I
over
think
it.
there's a chance of that.
Yep.
It's the inaugural edition of the 5 o'clock face-off on KTAR. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. We're talking about the government shutdown. What do we got, 22 days? All right, crystal ball, when does it end?
Ooh.
Before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, Stacy?
Oh, it has
That's
to-
next Friday.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's next. Excuse me,
Wait,
Thanksgiving.
Halloween.
Halloween's next Friday.
Halloween.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's
It
in a
better
month.
end before Thanksgiving. We're going to have, to your point, we're going to have HSI officers. We're going to have federal law enforcement officers having their cars repossessed if this doesn't get handled before then.
Thanksgiving's the 27th of November.
Oh, it's
So we're
gotta-
talking about a month.
Yeah,
Another
it
Think
has,
before.
it has to.
Why?
Well, I think we're going to see, like we did in Trump's first term, a group of federal workers suddenly getting the flu, like shutting down air traffic control in Iowa or shutting down a border patrol station in Tijuana.
You're not exaggerating, and I only know this because my my brother's an attorney for the TSA, and made the mention
it's
that
your problem.
It's well, he's on paid time off. He loves it. Are you kidding me? He's going to get every nickel back, and doesn't cost him one vacation day. But he made the point that the head of the TSA back in 2018 went before some of the leaders in Congress and said, so we're going to have to start shutting some airports down, including the airport you try to fly home to every Thursday.
Yeah.
And the ones that are going to stay open, we're going to have like 3 TSA people working the whole darn thing, so show up 12 hours
Yeah,
early.
the line's going to go right out the front door. It's
And
going to
they
be
said,
backed up to my house.
that's when people started to go, I'm going to hear about that from constituents.
It's weird how fast things get fixed when it actually affects Congress.
So there's a we've heard of this acronym before, so I'm going to apply it in this
please.
situation as well. TACO.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Because it doesn't happen until it doesn't happen. Because he is one of these people who you don't believe will ever change, and he's never going to do it until he does.
Okay.
And so he's going to read the tea leaves here. He's already seeing polling numbers that are reflective that the public's blaming Republicans, as we all agreed here. That's what's happening. And so he's gonna have to wake up and figure out some honorable way to get off this battlefield for
So
himself.
when there is a government shutdown, how much does the president play into this?
Well, right now,
This president?
this
this
president,
second, yeah.
all of it.
I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, he said it himself. He said it himself that this is like one of the worst marks that a president can have. And honestly, I agree with him because it seems like whenever we have bad leadership, this happens. And just coincidentally, the last time this happened, it was under his leadership.
Okay, so why doesn't he just he bullies everybody on the right? Why doesn't he just say get a deal done and do it tomorrow?
Well, he doesn't want to. But that's my point.
Well, he hasn't told them to
If
do
he
that.
told congressional Republicans to end this, it would be over in 5 minutes.
So why doesn't he want to end it?
I think he's delusional in his arrogance that somehow we're going to blame the minority party that doesn't hold the White House and does not hold either chamber. And in many of these, more than half the states have Republican governors. I really think he thinks that the rest of us are going to go, okay, it's fine.
I mean, in his defense, he's gotten away with it so much.
Yeah.
He's
gotten
bullied
away.
everybody.
He keeps doing all these things that you're like, well, he can't do that, and then he gets away with it, right? So in his defense, like I think he's still looking at this like, I will pull another rabbit out of my hat.
I'm looking at some of the latest polling on this, by the way. Quinnipiac did some polling on this. And when you ask who's responsible, registered voters, 45% say Republicans, 39% say Democrats, 11% say equal. So it's not like an 80-20 issue yet.
No.
Yet.
All right.
Agreed.
All right, it is the inaugural edition of the 5 o'clock face-off. Coming up next, we're going to hit a local issue here, one that Bruce and I have talked about a lot, but I'm really interested to see what the panel thinks. Why is homelessness up 40% in the Valley? What is happening out there? And should we bring back the zone? It's all coming up.
We are inside the face-off, the 5 o'clock face-off. Joining us, Stacy Pearson, Chuck Coughlin, and Ricardo Reyes. We are having a discussion now, Gatos, about the new report that came out. There is a survey that they do on a regular basis looking at Maricopa County alone. Homelessness up 40% in the last year. And I think a lot of people would say, why? What happened in the last 365 days to increase the homeless population so much?
I know that we cleared out the zone. That was a court order late 2023.
Yeah, but 2 years ago.
So,
Yeah,
are some of them still on the street? Well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't know if they got some off. I don't know. Why are we seeing, is there something going on in the economy where we're seeing people becoming homeless? Is that what we're seeing? What do you guys think? We'll start with Chuck.
I think so. I think you have a couple of competing issues here. The cost of housing is gone through the roof. The availability of housing in much of the Valley has dropped.
What's going on with the person that is in a house already and something has gone wrong for them to have to take their family out of that house and now live on the street? What happened?
They lose a job. There's a medical crisis in the family, and I'll add a mental health care crisis. There's that. I believe that is, where do you go in the Valley if you have a mental health care problem? There's not a lot of availability on that, and people don't get treated. I have some ideas on that, but I think those are things that are happening in the Valley. And then, the omnipresent drug issue, which everybody, I think, deflects and goes to, but I don't know that it's the root cause of the actual problem.
What do you think, Ricardo? I mean, what's going on out there?
It's almost like if you criminalize homelessness,
Poverty. Yep.
and poverty, it doesn't actually fix the problem, and those people don't magically disappear. Like, I feel like that's what happened when they cleared out the zone. People were like, oh, they're all gone. Like, no, they're not gone.
No.
You just moved them to another spot.
Well, as opposed to one mass,
Exactly.
they went like a half a dozen at a time to every park in the Valley.
And we didn't open up like, these huge new shelters or anything like that. And on top of that, there's all, like you said, right, there's so many things that are going on right now. For example, everything being more expensive. Why are we paying more for like electricity? Right, the ACC keeps approving like APS, and the SRP board keeps approving like all these rate hikes for electricity. Our water is more expensive. Our food is more expensive. Rent has gone through the roof for people who can't afford to buy a home. Rent is more expensive than a mortgage now.
I've heard many people say that. They pay more in rent than they would on their mortgage.
The bank won't approve you because they think you can't afford a $2,000 mortgage, but you're paying a $2,500 rent. So, I mean, to me, though, there's a ton of things that have to, the city, the state, and, the county all have to work together to address this problem, because if not, it's only going to keep getting worse.
The bank accounts for Phoenicians are being stressed.
Yeah.
Oh, I think past the point of stress, we had an entire population of people who needed to work an extra job to stay afloat. So pick up an Amazon shift here, go pick up DoorDash
the gig economy
there,
picked up another thing.
Pick up an Uber, work for 6 or 8 hours on Uber. All of that discretionary spending has been cut back. And those folks aren't getting the same shifts. And so that means their rent's late, their mortgage is late, if they're lucky enough to have one, their car payment's late, the car get repoed, and the work stops entirely. I mean, we have people hanging on by their fingernails to just have basic shelter. And to Ricardo's point, we've criminalized poverty and homelessness, and there's less money in the nonprofit world to go help people get back on their feet, and we've got an empathy crisis too.
Chuck?
So 2 things I think we could do.
Solutions.
So we've incentivized the rent-to-own industry. We've created a place where they are using capital markets to buy entry-level housing and then renting that housing out to what otherwise would have been first-time home buyers.
Right.
Yep.
So there's very little first-time entry-level homes.
And we tax that product the same way we tax an individual's home. They shouldn't do that. They should tax those higher because it's a corporate business. It's a corporate business model that's renting those out. And that
we know these companies, they own thousands of homes.
That's what's happened in the Valley. VRBO and rent-to-own has sucked out a massive portion of the housing stock, and so it's not available. So I would change the tax status on that rent-to-own model and quit charging them what a homeowner gets paid for property taxes.
So we got
that's one.
Okay, that's one.
Second way, I'd ask all the voters of Maricopa County to support Prop 409,
Okay.
which is the county hospital is building a new mental health care hospital on their campus at 24th Street in Roosevelt. And they're doing some other things, but we need Sheriff Sheridan has supported us. The county attorneys supported us because the hospital serves a critical function in the criminal justice community. It does all the court-ordered mental health care evaluations in Maricopa County. We have no place to put anybody. There's no place to
Well, it also
house
may
anybody.
prevent people from becoming a part of the criminal justice.
Well, that's the cops. We just have to rotate these people back on the street, and they're picking them up again. And
Right.
It's like so
Frequent flyers,
that's why the FOP and other people are supporting us because we are asking voters to support 409 because that's a problem. So that's the two things we could concretely do, in my view, right now that would begin to address the
I
problem.
agree.
I saw
with the
something
409.
interesting. Oh, you
I agree a lot with
as
the
well?
409. Yeah, like my face is on the pamphlet that they're sending home. So I have to say, like, I agree with that. As well.
Here. All right.
You're getting both sides to agree on this.
Yeah, this is not necessarily a political argument,
why
right?
she look at me with surprise on me? I get
Everything
both
is
sides to hate me too.
I
So
know.
I'm good with that.
There'll be something tomorrow that we'll yell at each other about.
Opportunity hater. Come
Everything
on.
is political, and I'm seeing kind of both sides like this idea of the Prop 409.
Yeah, we are. This is inside the 5 o'clock face-off. We're turning down the noise and turning up the conversation with a great panel: Stacy Pearson, Chuck Coughlin, Ricardo Reyes. Up next, DCS, Department of Child Safety. By the way, one of the worst named organizations I can think of, allowed 3 kids to get tortured and killed this year. Is there now a 4th? We're going to talk about it with our panel up next, Outspoken on KTAR.
This is the 5 o'clock face-off.
The inaugural edition of the 5 o'clock face-off. Let's go to our panel. They're facing off. Today, we got to Ricardo Reyes, Marine veteran, ex-director, executive director of the Vets Forward. We've got Chuck Coughlin, Republican political strategist, president of High Ground, Inc., and Lumen Strategies, Stacy Pearson, a Democratic political strategist. All right, DCS, I don't like them. I think they're crap. I think the way that they do their job is disgraceful. I think they're letting kids die. We had 3 kids that were tortured and murdered this calendar
year
year.
alone. Yeah.
And now we're finding out that really one of the big cases last year, a 2-year-old little girl basically cooked in her car because dad wanted to play video games. He was sentenced today, but now we're finding out DCS had a role in that one too.
Yeah. Can I clean that up just a little bit?
It's a lot of cleaning up to do.
Clean up on aisle 2.
No. This is the one down in Marana.
I go emotion
I know.
first because I can't stand to see this.
So this was down in Marana, and it was July of last year when this father left the 2-year-old in the car and died in July. What was it? 115 that day? We figured
109.
out in Marana. 109 in Marana.
They left her in there on purpose.
He was charged with first-degree murder and child abuse. Today he pled to second-degree murder and accepted a plea deal. A minimum of 20 years, maximum of 30 years in prison. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the news of the day. What we found out was there were 9 prior abuse allegations made against this father between 2014 and 2020. None of them related to the 2-year-old girl who died, related to his other children, who, by the way, in court documents said, yeah, Dad used to leave us in the car all the time.
Yeah, they had bruises. Dad beat them.
Allegations of emotional abuse, physical abuse, denying them their medicine, not taking them to therapy, etc.
Yeah. How many more of these cases are going to come out of the
9
woodwork?
times.
9 times. I mean, with the little girl who was tortured and killed, Rebecca.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 calls into DCS. They didn't do a damn thing with any of them. Chuck?
Oh, God.
Yeah, you're going to...
So I've worked for 2 governors, and whenever somebody from this department comes in, the first thing I do is thank them. Mm-hmm. I thank them for their service and what they're trying to do. because admittedly, what all of this is, if you think about it, is it's a parental abuse problem.
Yeah.
That means the extended family, whatever around them, has failed. Any faith network around them has failed. Any local care network around them has failed. And we're going to call the state and have them fix this. Mm-hmm. So let's admit where we are in a failed society entirely. And we're asking you to solve the problem. And then you got to go get money from the legislature to fund this outreach and these problems. And then you got to find people who are willing to do this, which is an incredibly taxing, difficult, and as you just said, the system is not working.
Well, I mean, you can thank them for, their service, but you can also call them on their failure.
Well, it's an institutional failure.
That's assuming the 9 calls went to the same person. I mean, this is an agency in the state, to Chuck's point, that has one of the highest turnovers, if not the highest turnover.
But it goes to the same place.
It does.
9 calls went to DCS. The person that answered the phone is not the same. I know that.
You need a management consultant report. You'd pay a lot of money to go and say, okay, fix this. Get Accenture, get some large consulting company in and go, fix this. And then adopt a system, fund that system, fund the people to operate the system.
And hire the people to respond to the calls.
Yeah.
Pay them what they're worth.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking social workers, teachers, law enforcement. I mean, these guys don't start out at salaries high enough to deal with that trauma.
Well, it strikes me that there's also
the worst.
You have to learn to do this job properly. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't, if I got that phone call, I'd probably freak out on day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you deal with it? And if they can't keep anybody that has any experience in dealing with it, it's a bunch of rookies and newbies trying to learn their way.
I think, to me, right, as somebody who, like, I've never worked for a governor, right? I'm not in those circles that you guys are. To me, I'm just, a little old Ricardo from the West Side who saw a lot of these issues growing up. Okay, like I've seen what it looks like, and what I understand that they want to keep the families together, and I understand that a lot of times these allegations come in, and it's not always what it seems.
No,
but at the same time, you have to use common sense. Right, like if for these cases that we're seeing right now, and I understand it is hard, and there's some of these jobs that I would not take, and I would not, wish these on people. I've been like at the immigration courthouse. The Fridays is the kid docket when the kids show up that are unaccompanied. Those are like, and people have to show up with them.
Right.
And there's some people who like those to me are like heart wrenching, like really hard jobs. This is one of those where this is a job that it takes a special type of person to be able to deal with this every single day. You're going to be trauma dumped on every single day. And I understand that. But that doesn't mean that we don't hold you accountable when you fail. Mm-hmm. Because when you fail, it costs people lives. It's the same thing as being an officer. Like if you're a cop, you are the last. For the most part, like when a cop is called into something, he's like the last person that we want to call to something. Especially like my community, we're the last people that we're going to call is a cop. The last people that we're going to call is CHP on someone. So if you're being called to these situations, normally, like you said, it's because everything else has failed, and our only option is you.
Right.
So when you fail, it has devastating effects.
No safety net left.
Exactly.
Here, last line of defense.
So that doesn't mean that we don't hold these people accountable. No. And also, I want to know who gave this guy this sweet little deal where he's only getting
20 years.
Why are we only giving this guy 20 years when he killed
literally
a child?
Killed a 2-year-old.
I agree. Here's a solution. Stop keeping families together. I'm kind of tired of hearing this. Sometimes you got to take the kid out of the family and
put him
move
where?
on.
We are so short in foster families right now. We have tens of thousands more kids that need placements than people willing to take a foster child. So there's not a giant roster of people saying, hey, send me your huddled masses. I mean, we don't have anywhere to put them. And so these folks are faced with an impossible scenario. Either keep them with a family when there are complaints, or send them to a group home, or what?
Can I ask a question, though? And I admit I don't know this. These agencies, DCS being the example, is their goal to keep the family together, or is their goal to protect the children?
It's actually set by federal guidelines.
Okay, but those things could be in conflict with one another.
They often are. Mm-hmm. They often are, where a professional has to make a decision, because if you take a kid away and that's an injustice to the parents that they're going to complain about, you're going to hear about that too. This all requires empathy. It all requires some degree of empathy. Favorite quote, we build on foundations we did not lay. We drink from wells we did not dig. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We benefit from people we did not know. And if we can all keep that at the forefront of our discussions, which our current political culture really doesn't do, it would be a beneficial thing because it promotes this empathetic idea. I would say I'd be down at the legislature this year asking for a massive increase, if I were the governor, massive increase in funding for a consultant's report to go in, clean this agency up, create what's the budget, what are the resources we need, and fund it.
Listen, from your mouth to God's ears, and we're going to have Governor Hobbs in here and continue to hit her with these questions because it's something that obviously sticks with a lot of folks out there. You are with us at the 5 o'clock face-off. Again, Stacy Pearson, Chuck Coughlin, Ricardo Reyes in studio. And up next, President Trump deploying troops into cities, specifically Portland and Chicago right now. We'll get the latest on that and get our panel's reaction. Coming up next, it's Outspoken on KTAR. The 5 o'clock face-off. Turning down the noise, turning up the conversation. Amazing group of guests in studio with us right now. Ricardo Reyes, Executive Director of Vets Forward. Chuck Coughlin, Republican strategist and CEO of High Ground Consulting. And Stacy Pearson, Democratic political strategist. And she's over there at that Lumen Strategies place, All right.
Lighting up the world.
Lighting up the world. So,
with peace and love.
we have courts weighing in. And by the way, getting some varied rulings on the ability of President Trump to deploy troops in American cities, specifically cities that didn't vote for him, might be a nice way to put it. Are the courts... So we got
Chicago and Portland.
Those are the big ones right
Possibly San Francisco next.
now. Right.
D.C. already.
D.C.
Yeah.
New York.
Chicago.
New York now.
I think in Chicago, ICE has to wear body cameras.
The one judge ruled they can't be deployed without body cameras. That's ICE.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Ricardo, Chicago, they got to wear body cameras. They can still cover their face, though, right?
No. I mean, yeah, they can, but
can?
they shouldn't.
They should not.
I mean, look, again, what's going on right now with ICE, and this is my wheelhouse. All right, so
This is your
So hold
wheelhouse.
on. Why are we allowing masked men who refuse to identify themselves and are driving unmarked vehicles? How are we supposed to trust that this is ICE? There are already people going around pretending to be ICE and grabbing people and assaulting women. So what is a person supposed to do when somebody who they're like, I don't know if this is ICE, but if you defend yourself, now you're assaulting an officer. Now you're getting charges on top of it. For me, someone who is an American citizen who happens to look a certain way, if they come to me, ICE has absolutely zero authority over American citizens.
Right.
Yet we see time and time again that they're assaulting people when they're like, hey, I'm an American citizen. You have no authority over me, and they try to walk away, and they get tackled, or they get grabbed, or they get arrested, and then they're like, "Oh, well, they were resisting arrest."
There's a new reporting out right now that says 170 American citizens have been detained by ICE at some point. We're at
Lower than I would have
170
guessed. Yeah.
Americans.
I guarantee you that's higher, and that they're not telling the truth because we know right now that they are harassing, at the very least, harassing a bunch of people who they'll grab them, they'll take them down, and then they'll be like, "Oh, it's an American citizen," and they just let them go.
So here's one thing though about the masks, and I do think it is a bad look. The reason they're wearing the mask is some people who are activists or protesters. They're trying to out the ICE agent.
So
I wouldn't want a cop to be outed.
the cops don't wear masks.
I get that. If
Phoenix
they didn't-
PD doesn't
if
wear
they
masks.
Didn't wear a mask.
I've been doxxed. I'm not a cop.
I'm married to a cop.
Married
Yes,
and
you
we've
are.
been doxxed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is. I had
That's why they're wearing a mask. I'm just saying. That's
You don't want
why
to get
they're
doxxed? Don't be an ICE
Yeah,
agent.
don't be an ICE agent. That would be my answer.
Or in my case, don't go on the radio and
Have an opinion?
Have an opinion.
Yeah.
But look, my husband wouldn't get away with any of what these ICE agents are doing. I mean, they're
Like legally, you mean?
legally, right? I mean, and he was in an undercover position for a number of years. He still couldn't wear a mask. He still had that. His unit now has Axon body cams. I mean, this is a level of accountability both for the officers and for the community. I mean, the easiest way to see what happened is to roll tape.
We got to re-examine the mission of what they're doing.
I agree.
I mean, that's critical, and there has been no congressional oversight of this.
Nor will there be.
Well, as far as we know.
Until after the midterms,
Yeah,
possibly.
maybe. But
Trump wants people in other countries to see this so they do not come here.
Well, but he also wants people here scared,
Trump
obviously.
wants to terrorize the people that are already here. And the
Yeah,
problem is that the
agreed.
majority. So the problem right now is that they told us that they were going to go out and get the worst of the worst, all these criminals. Then the problem is that there's not enough of them. There's not enough criminals out there for them to grab and make this big show. So now they're going after people who are at the courthouses. They're going after people who are out like selling flowers in a corner. So that is. And to me, the thing
Canal
about the
Street,
mask,
New York.
exactly. The thing that gets me about the mask, real quick,
Yeah.
right, is that their argument is like, well, these people have families.
They do.
Their fathers, their husbands. You know, think about their families. What about all the people that they are terrorizing? They have families. They have kids. Most of them are mixed status, where part of that family is also an
Right.
American citizen, and they are being terrorized, and you are destroying their lives, but nobody cares about them. It's always just, we gotta really pull on those heartstrings for these ICE
I
agents.
say this with deference to Stacy's husband,
Yes.
but I always like it when officers say, "What's for officer safety?" I go, "I'm more concerned with citizen safety." But thank you. I'm not concerned with
and
your
look,
safety. You have a badge and a gun. I'm concerned with citizen safety.
I have the utmost confidence that my husband isn't participating in any behavior that he has to cover his face to avoid retribution or criticism. I mean, this is way beyond what should be acceptable, particularly legally acceptable, when we're deploying these folks on American citizens.
I run campaigns for a living.
Yes,
for
you do.
Most of my life. So let's examine where Trump is invading. Trump is invading big blue cities.
Yeah.
That are never going to vote for him.
We're never going to vote for him.
So we're right. We're just terrorizing part of the population for how they've politically behaved, and he's punishing people for that. You know, let's see when he goes into Bloomington, Indiana. Let's see when he wants to go into Davenport, Iowa.
But he won't.
No, that's the
Right.
whole point.
Yep.
You know, it's just not happening.
Or Orem, Utah.
And I want to remind people that the model for all of this was Joe Arpaio.
Absolutely.
The model, all of this started in Maricopa County, and when Joe Arpaio was found, in contempt of court because he kept doing his raids, when Judge Schnell told him to stop, who's the person that came in and pardoned him?
And let's go back.
Last
where
word.
was Donald Trump's first major political rally? Anybody?
oh yeah,
Joe Arpaio
20
at the convention center downtown.
and Arpaio lost that year.
Yes,
there
because-
is
yeah.
a maximum tolerance.
And he was
people
telling everybody
have.
what a
Yes.
great American Joe Arpaio was.
Yeah.
All right, can I do? Can I do one thing? Because I'm getting pummeled right now on my phone.
Uh-oh.
I've been introduced as a Republican.
What would you like to be reconsidered?
I have been a Republican most of my life.
Okay.
And I
You don't wanna be
changed my
associated
party.
with them anymore?
I became an independent when
I'd be embarrassed too.
our president threw my former boss,
Senator
Senator McCain, under the bus. I'm like, okay, I don't go along with that,
Fair
so
enough.
I'm off the bus.
Got it.
My firm is still a Republican firm, but
Understood.
I am an independent.
Okay.
I gotta write it down next time.
Yeah,
I got text.
It makes it
I
a
already
much
got
longer
text.
intro to explain
Yeah.
that. That was Chuck Coughlin, independent political strategist with High Ground Consulting. Stacy Pearson, she's fine. You have that D next to your name. You got no problem with that over at Lumen Strategies. And Ricardo Reyes, Marine and Executive Director of Feds Forward. Thank you all for being with us today on the 5 o'clock Face-Off. We
Thank you for having
appreciate
us.
all of it.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.